Hi everybody, so today I'm going to be talking about the extraocular muscles of the eyes. So I've already done a video on the anatomy of the eye, so if you want to see the anatomy of the eye, go check out that video. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the muscles that move the eye. And for the most part, there's 6. I've seen some sources that say 7, so I'm going to include a 7 today. Most sources will tell you that there's 6. I've actually seen some sources that say there's only 4. It's only the rectus muscles. So let's go ahead and get started. So the way I'm going to do this is like this. I am going to go through the muscles by the cranial nerve that innervates them. So there's going to be 3 different cranial nerves: the oculomotor nerve, the trochlear nerve, and the abducens nerve. So let's go ahead and get started. And what we're looking at here are 2 different pictures of an eye, and these are both right eyes. So this is obviously looking at the eye laterally, right? So it's a right eye. So imagine I were to take off the right side of my head, and now you're looking at my right eye, what's left of it, okay? This is also my right eye, so now you're looking at it straight this way. So if I were to draw a nose, my nose would actually be somewhere over in here, right? And the ear would be somewhere that's around in here. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first cranial nerve we're going to talk about is going to be cranial nerve number 3. And we call this the oculomotor nerve, okay? And this is strictly motor. This is not a sensory nerve at all. So let's go ahead and take a look. The first muscle I am going to cover is the Levator Palpebrae Superioris, and this is usually not considered an extraocular muscle, but it does open your eyelids. So it's the Levator Palpebrae Superioris. Okay, and this opens your eyelid. All right. So if I were to show you where that's at, that would be this muscle that's coming right up in here. This is my eyelid there. You can see there's eyelashes right there. So this would be this muscle right here. And it actually attaches onto the lesser wing of the sphenoid if you've taken the bone anatomy. So this would be it right here. Okay, and again, when it contracts, it pulls the eyelid up and your eyes open. So let's go ahead now, look at the next one. The next one is going to be called the Superior Rectus. And the superior rectus muscle is this big one that you're going to see that's right here. This is my superior rectus. Now, all of my rectus muscles start off at the same place. I'm going to show this in a little bit. And it's called the annulus of Zinn. And what happens is a little circle, and basically all the rectus muscles come out from this and go out to different parts of the eye. So this is the superior rectus right here, and then this is going to be my superior rectus up here. That's my superior rectus there. The superior rectus attaches to the superior portion of the sclera. Its function is very simple. All it does is help your eyes look straight up. So if you look up like this, that's going to be the superior rectus. So it's responsible for moving the pupils up. Okay, or better yet, we could say superior, right? It's going to move my pupil superior. Now, the next one we're going to do, I don't have drawn over here, but I do have drawn over here, and that's going to be this muscle that you see right here. Now, remember, I said the nose would be over in here. So this is medial. So this muscle is called the medial rectus. And what the medial rectus is going to do is the medial rectus is going to move my eye or my pupil medially. So it's going to move it toward my nose. So it moves the pupil medially. Or the easier way to remember is just toward the nose. Okay, so that's going to be the medial rectus. And again, this is innervated by cranial nerve number 3. So I have the superior rectus, I have the medial rectus, and now I'm going to do my inferior rectus. So if we take a look, this down here is going to be my, let me put this to my list right here. That was the medial rectus, right? Moves eye medially, okay? And then this down here is going to be my inferior rectus. Now, if you notice, the inferior rectus is going to, it's also going to start at the annulus of Zinn, but it also connects to the inferior portion of the sclera. And if you don't know what the sclera is, that's the white part of the eyes. When this contracts, this pulls straight down, right? So the pupil is going to look down. So this is the inferior rectus. And it moves the pupil down, or in anatomy, down is inferior, right? So is that even an easier way to remember? Is that an easy way to remember? The inferior rectus moves inferior, the medial rectus moves medial. The superior rectus is going to move superiorly, right? So let me move this right over here, and if we go like this, this would be my inferior rectus that we see coming right here. This is the inferior rectus right here, right? And you can see this is where it attaches onto the sclera, is this portion right here. So when it pulls down, it pulls the pupil down, okay? So the next one we're going to have is a muscle that's called the inferior oblique. If you notice here, I have a muscle that comes like this, right? It goes like this, and it's coming at an oblique angle. So this is going to be my inferior oblique. Right? That's this muscle right here. And it's also this muscle you see that's right here. Now, unlike the rectus muscles, which we said all connect together at the annulus of Zinn, or come out of the, not connect together, but originate at the annulus of Zinn, this is actually going to originate at the maxillary bone, and it's going to connect to the inferior lateral side of the sclera. Remember, the sclera is the white part of the eye. So when this pulls, it's going to pull this way. When this pulls, it's going to pull this way, which is going to cause the pupil to go up and that way. So at the inferior, and when it does, the pupil continues up and it goes here. Remember, my nose is there, it's going to go this way. So the inferior oblique moves the pupil up and out, okay? It's going to move the pupil up and out. So now, those are the muscles that we have that are innervated by cranial nerve number 3. I'm not going to go into the other muscles that control the pupil size, because those are not extraocular muscles. So anyways, we have those, okay? The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to go to cranial nerve number 4, and cranial nerve number 4 is called the trochlea nerve, okay? This controls one muscle. It's all motor. It controls one muscle, and it's going to control something called the superior oblique. Okay, it's going to control the superior oblique muscle. Now, this is my superior oblique muscle here. I've been talking about the annulus of Zinn, right, which I'm going to show you is basically in the back of the eye. You have two little openings where the annulus of Zinn is at. And this is going to be right above it. This is actually going to be right above it on the sphenoid bone. Okay, you can see it hooks around this a little bit. It hooks around that, and then it attaches to the superior lateral portion of the sclera. Now, what this is going to do is when this muscle contracts and goes that way, it's going to cause the pupil to go this way, right? So as this contorts, it's going to come down, and this way, it's going to go this way. So my superior oblique is going to move the eye down and out. So it's kind of the opposite. My inferior oblique moves it up and out. My superior oblique moves it down and out. Okay, so that's it for cranial nerve number 4, the trochlea nerve. The last one we have is cranial nerve number 6, and cranial nerve number 6 is going to be the abducens. So the way this is going to work is like this, and I'll write this down in just a minute. But the way it works is like this. I have my lateral rectus right here. In fact, let's go like this. This is going to be my lateral rectus. And if you ever notice on your eyes, when I move my right eye this way, this one goes this way, right? They go like this. If I go this way, they work the opposite, right? The lateral rectus is going to move the eye laterally. It's going to move the eye laterally. the nerve that controls it is cranial nerve number 6, which is known as the abducens nerve. And if you think about the word abducens, it sounds a lot like the word abducts, right? And abducts means to move away from the center, move away from the body, which in this case is lateral. So the lateral rectus moves the eye laterally, but it works with the medial rectus. The lateral rectus is controlled by cranial nerve 6. The medial rectus, remember, is controlled by cranial nerve 3. So even though they work together, they're going to go like this, okay? So that will be the lateral rectus is controlled by cranial nerve 6. Let me just come over here real quick, and my lateral rectus on this is the really big muscle you see right here. This is my lateral rectus. So it's going to also start at the annulus of Zinn, and it's going to connect to the lateral portion of the sclera, and when it contracts, it pulls like this, which causes the eye to move laterally. Okay, so let's go over here just a little bit. And I'll try and avoid that glare right there. So I'm going to have the abducens nerve, cranial nerve number 6 is the abducens nerve. And again, this one's all motor. It controls the lateral rectus, and it moves the eye laterally. Okay, it's going to move the eye laterally. So now, we say that this is basically abduction, so it's going to abduct the eye or the pupil. In fact, to stay consistent, did I write eye over there? Moves the pupil laterally. Okay? So now, that's what this is going to do, and this is my lateral rectus here. So if we review this real quick, this was cranial nerve number 3, which was the Levator, Palpebrae, Superioris. This was the Superior Rectus, which was also cranial nerve number 3. This was the Inferior Rectus, which was cranial nerve number 3. And I had my Inferior Oblique, which was also cranial nerve number 3. The lateral rectus was cranial nerve number 6, and I don't have, oh, I'm sorry, I do. This right here was my superior rectus right here. It comes up like this, goes around that hook, and then comes back, and it actually attaches onto the sphenoid bone. So again, this purple part right here is my superior oblique. That's right there. Okay? Let's take a look at now where these are situated. And if I were to look at the skull, this is a little hard to do, but if you look way back in here, you will see there's a little hole right there. And that is basically your optic canal right there. That's your optic canal. And then you can see there's like a long hole right there. And that long hole is the superior orbital fissure. So that long hole's that superior orbital fissure, and this is the optic canal. So those two right there. So I'm going to draw those real fast over here. And if I were to go like this and say this is my superior orbital fissure. All right, so that's going to be this part that's right here. Is the superior orbital fissure, would be that's right there. And then that's my optic, or that's going to be my optic canal right there. The optic canal is where the cranial nerve is. Oop, and I should have drawn this just a little bit different. I'm going to draw my optic canal right here. So this is my optic canal. This is my superior orbital fissure. It would be right there. And then if I were to draw a, let me see, where's my brown? Let's take brown. If I were to draw like a structure that goes around this like this, this would be the, let's use blue, annulus of Zinn. Okay? And so coming off of here now, we would have, let's go with orange. I would have my rectus muscles, superior rectus, medial rectus, lateral rectus, and then my inferior rectus would all be coming off of there. My superior oblique, again, the nose would be somewhere over here. My superior oblique would be attached up in here somewhere and come out from there. My inferior oblique actually comes from the front of the eye, somewhere around in this area, from the maxillary bone, which you can see here. That says maxillary bone. It attaches to the maxillary bone and pulls that way. That's the inferior oblique. So that's it for the extraocular muscles. Let me move this over here because I want to leave a little shot of everything we wrote. That's it for the extraocular muscles. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.